And news agency.
Hi, good afternoon everyone. I'm Kim from the DPH. My question goes to Secretary. Basically, how much, as of today, how much percent of our agencies are, from your target, total target, how much percent already of our agencies are, all of the agencies that are compliant already? The whole of our. As of today,
it's a figure I will
how much percent already? Based on, thank you. I have two questions.
Hello. Thank you, CGN. Good afternoon, Sir Ilan. So on behalf of the Compliance Monitoring and Evaluation Office, we'd like to inform both our meeting events that the compliance as to the Citizens Charter Code, which more or less is the centerpiece compliance of our Environment 032. We have 10,896 out of 11,286 monitored agencies. Therefore, we only have around 390 po sa mga ahensya ng hindi pa po sa Citizen.
So your total target of the company? Well, from all the agencies nationwide.
That's around 11,000, we're monitoring right now 11,286 agencies. So very few na lang po.
Alright. My last question is, who mostly are the agencies that are do you have a study or database as to who are the agencies that are mostly has a case in terms of in regards to RTA? Thank you.
We have we refer to legal department because recently during our Senate budget hearing, we were also asked to submit the 10 most complained agencies. We have also to understand that depending to the number of clientele, it does not necessarily mean that just because this is the number one most complained, it is the most inefficient. It is really because of the number of their customers or clients. But the good thing about this is that they have also improved by addressing complaints and the problems that have been raised to us. Mabilis po sila mag-share. Sunod as to the exact number, I refer it to our Undersecretary for Matter.
Thank you, Secretary. You have to take note of what Secretary has said. Even if they are in the list, the top 10 complaint agencies, that doesn't mean na hindi naman sila talaga efficient. So really, because masyado madami nga yung iko-complain sa kanila dahil malaki yung agency nila, or mas marami nang napapansin sa kanila kaya nagko-complain. So maraming factors to be considered before you can actually tell kung talagang ang agency ay efficient or hindi. But to answer your question po, for 2024, ito po yung number of agencies na most complained. Top 1, National Government Agency is LRA with their regional offices and registry of deeds. Okay. Second is Social Security System. Third is Food and Drug Administration. Fourth, BIR. Fifth, Philippine Statistics Authority. Number 6, Department of Labor and Reform. Number 7, DNR. Number 8, Land Transportation Office. Number 9, Pag-ibig. And number 10, Department of Foreign Affairs. So that is for 2024.
Sasabihin po, maliliwanag ng Philippine Direct Media. So, bukas gaganatin po yung third annual Empowering Next Generation ES Champion. Kung saan po ito? Sino yung mga champions nila? Thank you.
Part of our mandate on enabling capacitating agencies, ito po yung the conduct of regulatory impact assessment. Napagit ko na kanina, to have a lasting solutions to the issue of red tape and to have much improved bureaucratic efficiency, we have to embed the practice of all agencies concerned to conduct RIA or regulatory impact assessment every time they promulgate and implement regulations. Kasi pag ito po ay already embedded in the system and all agencies comply with this requirement, we will be able to avoid yung mga overlapping regulations yung mga conflicting regulations, yung mga pahirap na regulasyon. This will also address the issue of, and this is also the most of the concern raised to us by our development partners, even foreign governments, of changing policies in the middle of the game. We cannot do that. In order to have stability in the system, all agencies must comply with this requirement that any regulation that they propose or implement must be subjected to regulatory impact assessment. To implement this, we also release a circular to all concerned agencies to submit to us their annual regulatory plan. Para po yung kung meron silang plan to regulate, the public will be able to know that there is this plan by government to promulgate or issue a particular regulation. And the public will also be aware that before that regulation is to be implemented, the agency will also ensure that this regulation will be subjected to proper public consultations. And that will also ensure na lahat po ng sektor na maapektuhan dito ay makakonsulta at makapagbigay sila ng kanilang comment before that regulation is to be implemented. This will also ensure that that regulation complies with yung good regulatory practice or principle. We have also released that 10 Philippine good regulatory principles na before a regulation has to have a legal and a factual basis, there has to be proper consultation, there has to be stakeholder engagement, there also has to be a cost-benefit analysis to ensure that hindi lang basta-basta tayo nagpapatupad ng isang regulasyon. Ito po ay dumadaan sa isang proseso. And we have so far been effective kung gusto kong to emphasize. For instance, there was an issue or a regulation to be implemented by the Philippine Ports Authority that will entail an increase in the fees and medyo pahirap. So what the Chambers of Commerce did, they protested, they went to ARTA. What ARTA did, we required PPA to subject the regulation to regulatory impact assessment, and after a thorough review and study, we made the recommendation for that regulation to be deferred, subject to proper consultation here. So far, that the PPA has respected our proposal. Recently po, we have an issue with the Bureau of Fire Protection. Meron po tayong yung successful program natin ng IBOS. And one of the functionalities doon, while the Bureau of Fire Protection is developing a system to collect the fees, meron po tayong sinuggest, and through a joint memorandum circular with DILG, DICT, DTI, at ARTA, meron po tayong pinopose na template memorandum of agreement. And that worked very well. At umabot na nga po sa 112, but expectation is next year, lalo pang dadami ito. Until the Bureau of Fire Protection suddenly came up with a directive saying that the memorandum of agreement between the LGU and the Bureau of Fire Protection Local Chief is hereby rescinded. Of course, the LGUs reacted. We received several complaints. So what we did, we immediately raised this matter before the newly appointed DILG secretary. And in one meeting, after briefing the secretary about this, the secretary made a decisive action, telling, advising, directing the Bureau of Fire Protection to suspend that directive, and the Bureau of Fire Protection complied. And so we're continuing with this program on the electronic business one-stop shop. This is the beauty of agencies working together, consulting each other before you implement a particular regulation. And we respect each other under a whole of nation approach. And we really appreciate the decisive action of Secretary Remulla of the DILG on acting on it. And we were able to thwart what could be a damaging move by a government agent. And we also recognize, appreciate the effort of the Bureau of Fire Protection for recognizing our mandate of regulatory review and for respecting our recommendation and for calling and meeting with us with the DILG Secretary. Kaya po ito kailan talaga sama-sama tayo yung mga ahensya at wala pong problema na hindi natin nabibigyan ng solusyon kapag ang ahensya kasama po yung private sector ay nag-uusap para mabigyan ng mas mabilis at tamang solusyon sa kahit anumang pong problema. Yes, sir.
Hello. Hello. Hello, good afternoon. Yes, Ross Del Rosario from Bolsa Pilipinas. Before I used to work for the United Nations. So among the duties na ginagawa ko, the roles is ito nga, to coordinate, to transact with government agencies. And doon ko naranasan talaga na napakahirap, napakalaki ang red tape. It's bloody red. So I am impressed at ginagawa ninyo, and I was going to ask questions ay mga success stories, pero Secretary Perez already mentioned it, pero I really want to know specifically yung success stories, ano yung timeline, how long it took, and ano yung mga nag-challenge, saan kayo nahirapan, saan part, mahirap ba yung coordinating with a specific member or department. So ano yung success stories, and then how long it took, and then ano yung naging challenge niyo?
Minsan mabilis, of course, admitted din, minsan matagal doon. Depends on the nature of the concern raised to us. But we have gathered success stories that fully documented naman to. Take for instance, hindi ko lang babanggitin, there's this issue with the Bureau of Customs. So kanilang supplies and imported materials have been pending in the Bureau of Customs for months. At nagkaroon po ng risk o danger na baka matigil ang operasyon ng kumpanya nito. So what the head of that company minasis po sa akin, binigyan ako ng briefer why the importation of goods are being held in customs. And knowing and convinced that they have a valid case, I simply forwarded the message to the Bureau of Customs Commissioner. At inaksyonan po ito kagad. Yun po sinasabi ko, sometimes yung problema, red tape, ay doon po sa baba. Yung sa taas po hindi nila alam. And until people complain to us, we will not be able to address them. Ngayon, yung sa mga long-term naman ng mga problema, we are not yet at liberty to tell kasi ito po ay medyo sensitive. Ang ginagawa po natin, we call for clarificatory meeting. Not only with our Data Regulations Office, kasama po natin yung legal department. And we try to call all the parties together. Ang kagandahan po ng ARTA is we have that mandate to interconnect government agencies. And we're talking of all national government agencies, even local government units, state universities and hospitals, government corporate owned and controlled corporation. We can call them for a clarificatory meeting, all the agencies involved, and we address, we try to discuss the problem. And of course, we do not just go to the meeting without being prepared for it. Pinapag-aral po natin ito sa ating Data Regulations Office, try to study the laws involved, the principles involved, and when we come to that meeting and we're able to share them, our concern, medyo ano po naman, chances are they respect our recommendation. And marami pong success stories, and you can visit our website, doon naman ay nakalagay doon. Pero ito po, continuing po yung ating effort. Alam natin na yung battle against red tape is a long battle. It's a continuous process, but we try to address this one at a time. At meron po tayong mga short-term solutions and long-term solutions. Ito pong isa sa mga long-term solution natin dito, itong sabi natin yung RIA, Regulatory Impact Assessment. ito pong aking senior early na program on the PIPRIS, Philippine Business Regulations Information System, pati na po yung Artemis on the capacitating agencies to upload their citizen charter. Ito po yung ating electronic complaints management system. Ito po ang ARC report cards. All of these are really designed to work out a long and lasting solution to the problem. But in terms of immediate urgent concern, what we do, we immediately call for a predicatory meeting on a case-to-case basis. And we have done that in the past. No? Concerns raised to us by ambassadors, no? by chambers of commerce, at recently po nagkaroon tayo ng memorandum of agreement with the chambers of commerce, no? With practically all the chambers of commerce. Recently nga with the Makati Business Club, no? At meron silang tayong dinidevelop na ease of doing business portal. Sila din may dinidevelop na portal, yung German-Philippine Chamber of Commerce, meron din silang portal. The use of the technology, sometimes even artificial intelligence, will really be able to help us address issues more expeditiously and in a more decisive manner.
Next question.
Hi sir, hi ma'am. Well, yung kasabi niyo sir na may mga adjust ng mga agencies. For instance, this SSS, I understand, they have new cellphone applications na mas mabilis yung pag-process ng mga kababayan natin. So my question would be, since the art was established in 2018, are the agencies in the top 10 still the same? Yung mga binanggit ko kanina, or papalit-palit lang sila ng ranking pero sila pa rin yung nasa top 10?
Tingnan natin yung iba ng pagkato na magsalita naman yung the face of our task,
Actually, sir, hindi po. Kasi po, yung complaints po kasi as we receive, no, it depends on the volume of transactions, sir. So if they receive 1,000 transactions as compared to the other agencies who receive, let's say, 5 to 10 transactions lang. Kaya po sila, sir, nandun pa rin sa top ranking agencies po na most complaints. So, again, we do filtering din po. Kasi po, there's complaints na as we receive literally about anything, and then there are complaints na talagang that falls under our jurisdiction. So for those na nagpo-fall po sa jurisdiction namin, we also have that list. We also have that top 10. So, ayun, meron na po kaming data. For this one, sir, ayan, kasi ano po talagang it depends on the number of transactions daily. So, for our related po, SSS pa din. Kasi nga po, they have lots of transactions daily. So it includes their online platform, their face-to-face platform. And, pero as to volume, hanggang sa ngayon po, BIR pa rin. Kasi ang dami po namin nare-receive na complaints. Kasi po, we have to remember that we have this MOA with 8888. So the complaints that they receive may napo-forward din po sa amin. So it also uploads that numbers, sir. So, ayan.
Thank you, sir. Sir, ihabol ko lang. I don't have the mabilis lang, sir. Sir, Secretary, you mentioned a while ago about the implementation of using AI in your agency. How it affects, sir, the bureaucracy of the government?
Of course, we not just implement it without subjecting it to proper studies. No? In fact, during our attended ASEAN OECD conference in Jakarta, isa yun sa mga topic na na-take up doon yung the use of artificial intelligence. So, ito po naman ay will be subjected to proper study, research muna. We will be guided by studies abroad, like the use of certain standards. Meron na pong dinidevelop certain standards as to the use of artificial intelligence. Meron na rin pong issues or about cybersecurity that we'll probably consider when we apply artificial intelligence. So, ito po ay still in the process of development. But we see the the potential of it. No? Kagaya po nang explain ko kanina, if we rely mainly on our manpower resources, we will not be able to receive complaints on weekends 24/7. But with the use of artificial intelligence, we will be able to entertain complaints, receive them 24/7. At as many calls as possible can be received all at the same time. Meron po kaming nakuwang well, based on experience in Germany, for instance, no? They have used artificial intelligence, and they are able to receive as many as 300 calls simultaneously at the same time. And this can be responded to immediately. And even the responses are properly monitored or tracked to ensure that no call is left behind, meaning that every call will be considered important and will be properly monitored para iwasan po natin yung reklamo na napapabayaan natin. So I hope that by next year, yun natin pong target, 2025, we should really be able to use artificial intelligence to complement our electronic complaints management system that I mentioned earlier, which we launched last October 29 during our Ease of Doing Business convention.
So sorry po, kung ngayon sir, wala pang AI, ilang sumbong ang natatanggap ninyo at kapag may AI na, ilan yung expected nyo ma-receive o ma-accommodate?
Actually, wala pang AI, so it's in the process of development, and even the ECMS is still in the process of development, although we already have the design and architecture for it. Well, currently we are receiving 700 a month. Yun yung peak average of 700 a month. Okay, so basically, maliit pa siya. We are foreseeing an increase kasi every month or year, lumalaki naman yung number of complaints, so we are foreseeing a considerable increase in complaints for next year. Especially when awareness through your help ay ma-reach yung ating mga kababayan na hindi pa alam ang existence ng ARTA. Yeah.
And I'd like to add regarding the AI, because with the AI also it will help us increase our data, especially in the sex disaggregation also. So we can also see doon, sino bang maraming reklamo, yung babae ba, yung lalaki, sino ba doon sa government employees, babae ba, lalaki, ano-ano ang mga reklamo nila, is it fixing, is it additional requirement na not being stipulated in the Citizens Charter, and also, pwede din siyang yung delay in the delivery of government service. Mapabilis po natin makikita doon ano yung mga common concerns for us to be able to do more and be more and improve and collaborate with these government agencies. So that's what AI can help us. But going back to the question kanina, I'd like to shed light on the success stories, because in the enforcement side of the EODP law, we also have stories of convictions. Like we're able to have 2 mayors as of this time, a conviction from the mayor of Tungalite, and we also have the mayor of Ordoneta, Pangasinan. I'm not saying kung saang term ito kung current or also protect the persons of these concerned individuals. And we also have some fixers, mostly from LTOs. We also have fixers from PSA, and we have a fire inspector from the BFP. I'm not saying kung saan, to protect their identity. And the latest is the one that you saw in the media, in the news. We have a head of office from the LTO in Bustos, Bulacan. So that's what, as far as enforcement is concerned. And for the challenges, despite we do not have confidential funds in ARTA, lahat po ito ay sipag at nagagaling sa mga empleyado ng ARTA. And then mostly, gawa at para sa bayan na donations for the things that we do in a successful entrapment, surveillance, and other activities for us to do a very concrete and effective case building.
Next question.
Sir, good afternoon. Pili ko Teresa po, Pagbuhay Marine. The maritime industry po, specifically the seafarers,
we are one of the biggest contributor in our national GDP. However po, there were a lot of things na nangyayari sa Marina, which I don't know po if Marina, I believe it's under you. Now, marami po complain ng mga seafarers about them. And also yung mga, every time babalik sila, they have to take examination. Nagiging parang redundant po. Tumasakit na yung So, saying this, sir, how would you look at the Marina procedure to help our seafarers ease down yung burden ng kanilang mga application and ranking?
The maritime sector is also a priority sector, and we have started meetings on it already by having a one-stop shop din for the maritime sector. In fact po, we have great potential for this country. In our recent meeting with the Danish ambassador, he has told us about the great plan and the great potential of this country, not only in terms of providing manpower, not only providing seamen, etc., but we have a great potential for a shipbuilding industry in the Philippines. Kaya po, this will also be our priority starting next year. One-stop shop for the, not only for the maritime sector, but also for the shipbuilding. At ating pong the regulations office will be on top of it. Maybe I will request Director Navida, who is the Director of the Regulations Office, on our plan to address issues of the maritime sector, particularly on Marina.
Excuse me, sir. I believe, sir, yung shipbuilding po is this is again parang yung case na nangyari before with Hanji. Later on, binitawan nila.
Hindi na to, moving forward po, tapos na tayo sa Hanji. Ito po ay yung Denmark, which is also one of the known for shipbuilding. And they're really looking at the Philippines as a potential or venue for the shipbuilding activity in the country.
Thank you, Secretary. Just to add, meron po kaming ongoing coordination with Marina, since as you all know, the Marina has released their development plan for the next 2 years. So, yes, our intention is like what Secretary mentioned, to develop a one-stop shop for seafarers. So we would be providing them with training on how to streamline their process. Kasi di ba po na-mention nyo na merong mga proseso na paulit-ulit na pupunta yung ating mga seafarers sa central office. So, yung isa po sa mandato kasi ng ARTA is to empower our agencies. So, paano natin yung ginagawa? We train them on how to do streamlining. So, sila na mismo yung magmamapa ng proseso nila. Kung minsan po kasi, pag maraming ahensya na involved, kunwari dun sa seafarer, para lang makalabas sila, marami silang magdadaanan na ahensya. And usually, yung mga agencies, ang nakikita po nila, yung proseso lang nila. Pero pag ipinagtabi-tabi yung mga yon with the other agencies, doon po natin makikita yung mga proseso na umuulit, requirements na umuulit. So kami po, ang gagawin namin, we will provide a venue for all the agencies to see kung yung mga processes nila, and ma-identify po natin ano yung redundancies. So, ganun po yung role ni ARTA. And like what Secretary has mentioned, we also received some requests to also look into the shipbuilding industry because it's something that has a lot of potential for the Philippines. Thank you.
Another area po is to look into the port operation. As a final note lang po for everybody, we are the number 3 suppliers of seafarers in the world, and 30% of the world's seafarers right now on board are Filipinos. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question, please.
Juan Gonzalez po, DZRH. Good afternoon, Secretary. Pag-ilinaw lang muna bago yung tanong ko po. yung tungkol ho dun sa 2024 most complained government agency. Linawin muna natin na ito ay base ho dun sa bilang ng natatanggap inyong reklamo. Hindi dun sa ng bilang, ang dami ng mga nagre-reklamo na hindi naman ipinarating ang reklamo sa ARTA. Yun ba yung ibig sabihin po niya? Sinulat ko yung top 10, number 1, LRA, SSS, FBI, BI, RPSA, number 10, DFA. Ang tanong ko po, Secretary, ay anong particular na reklamo sa LRA ang pinaka-concern ng publiko? Kasi least expected ho ang LRA. Hindi ho namin alam na ganun ho pala karami ang nagre-reklamo tungkol sa lupa. Thank you. Ganun din ho sa SSS, din nakawalan mo na yan. Ano yung pinaka-most concern ng mga nagre-reklamo?
Thank you for the question. With your permission, Secretary, yung complaints na nag-receive namin for 2024 regarding sa LRA, particular sa Registry of Deeds ng iba-ibang lugar. So hindi lang to concentrated sa isang area, but whole of the country. So meron sa Luzon, meron sa Visayas, sa Mindanao. Ang usual nilang complaint is inaction. Hindi naaktuhan yung kanilang mga, depends sa transaction, whether it's for titling, for annotation of ganito, whatever, there is inaction on the part of the Registry of Deeds. So yun yung madalas na reklamo regarding dun sa LRA, Registry of Deeds. Hindi namin alam kung ito talaga yung madami talaga dahil kasi ang concern lang namin yung mga ARTA-related na complaints. Meaning, ang inaaktuhan lang namin ay yung cover ng aming jurisdiction. So which is yung compliance with the Citizens Charter, inaction, delay, walang notice of disapproval, walang ganon. So ganun lang ang aming inaaktuhan. So there could be other complaints ang citizens na hindi na namin na-cover. For naman sa SSS, I think it's also yung kanilang claims sa benefits, hindi na-aktuhan kagad on time. So yun yung major na mga complaints na receive namin. For the others, medyo hindi ko kakapsado yung mga details. But dun sa top 2 na yun yung kanilang major complaints.
Number 2 question, Secretary. Wala yung microphone pero malakas naman po yung question. Paano ho ba yung proseso para ma-penalize ang isang government agency o isang particular na empleyado ng isang government agency na inireklamo? Paano po yung proseso? I-refer po ba ito? Sino ang judge? Kayo na rin ba ang judge?
Una-una po, kailangan magreklamo. Diba? You can email us at complaints@arta.gov.ph. Of course, we respect the rights of not only the complainant but also the respondent. We observe due process. Nagkakaroon po tayo ng hearings. Nagkaroon ng opportunity for the respondent to submit their counter affidavit. And then, after due investigation, our findings and recommendations ay kung dismiss, of course, dismiss. Kung may for filing, we refer it either to the Office of the Ombudsman or the Office of the Civil Service Commission and other appropriate court. So, hindi po tayo sometimes confined, sometimes, pag the complaint does not really involve even Republic Act 1102 or the Ease of Doing Business Law. Pag ito po involving violation of Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, we refer it immediately to the Office of the Ombudsman para wala pong conflict, wala po tayong encroachment on the jurisdiction of the Ombudsman.
Okay, thank you, Secretary.
I think we have time for one more question.
Sir, just to follow up this Mark from Habol ko. Tungkol po sa nasabi nyo, nire-recommenda nyo sa ombudsman yung mga nire-reklamo kung darating po yung itong gano'n. Itong 2024, ilan na monitor nyo na, let's say, parang findings ng ombudsman o whatever court that ilan yung guilty na may nasintensyahan ba? Just like ombudsman, pag mga politicians ay recommendation na suspension o masibak as a debt penalty, ilan na po ang masasabi natin successful na project ng ARTA regarding sa mga ganito na kaso po?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon po. As far as total number of cases that we refer to the courts, that refers to the METC, MTC, RTC, the Ombudsman, the CSC, the other tribunals, and the disciplining body. We have filed a total of 121 cases. But for this year, since hindi pa natapos, what I have is the data as far as third quarter is concerned. So, we were able to issue a total of 74 resolutions for this quarter. Endorsed to the different offices concerned in other tribunals and disciplining bodies.
If we can have one more question.
Right. Good afternoon. This is Muro from Philippine News Agency. BGNS, since ARTA is in the forefront of preparing the report for the World Bank year-end report, what was the marching order of the President Ferdinand Marcos? May sinet ba siyang target sa inyo kung ano dapat yung ranking natin maybe in the next year or maybe before the administration?
The World Bank Business Ready Report is a new initiative by the World Bank after having suspended the annual doing business survey in 2021. We have gotten the visa designation from the President for ARTA to be the focal point in terms of the submission. As to the exact directed target, the President has not really specified. But knowing the President, of course, we will always aim for the top. No? Yung ating pong ranking dito sa recent pilot testing done by the World Bank on the 50 economies, we rank among the top 40%. Of course, being we will, ang aking po sana possible top 20. Of course, that is our aim. No, we aim, we dream high for ARTA. The President has not set us the target, but we are right now we're busy with preparing the various technical working groups that will address this. And siguro I will give the chance for Director Marvida to talk more about the details about preparations for this. In fact, this coming December 6, we will have our submission to the World Bank. Although we have submitted our report and recommendation to the Office of the President, and we will continue to inform the President about the progress of our initiative. Director Marx?
Sorry, did you talk when kailan yun? Kailan yung target na yun? By top 20?
Yun po yung ating talagang aiming high. No?
Anong year yun?
Actually, to be realistic about it, siguro top 30% will be achievable. 20 maybe before the end of this administration's term, 2020.
Yes, thank you, PGNS. And linawin ko lang po hindi, yung difference po kasi nitong Be Ready dun sa doing business report, which I think mas familiar po kayo dun sa doing business. Dun po kasi ranking talaga yung nangyayari. So every year, we always check if we improve in the rankings. Yung dito po sa Be Ready report, we are competing against ourselves. So we need scores na po kasi yung tinitignan dito based on 3 pillars. So merong pillar on regulatory framework. So tinitignan po doon kung meron tayong mga regulasyon in place dun sa 10 topic area nila. Yung second is yung public services, whether or not we have the institutions that will be able to implement those regulations. And yung pangatlo po, yung na-mention ni Secretary kanina, implementation. Kasi po, based po dun sa ating score sa World Bank, Be Ready for 2024, mataas po tayo in terms of regulatory framework. 71 out of 100 yung score natin doon, which is actually higher than most of our ASEAN counterparts. But we did not score well in terms of implementation. So meaning, marami pa po tayong improvement na pwedeng gawin. Marami pong pwedeng gawin si ARTA in order to facilitate discussions with agencies on how to improve our performance. And like what you mentioned po, no, itong Be Ready po kasi meron siyang pilot run for 3 years, so 2024 until 2026. For this run, it's for around 50 countries. So tumataas po yung number of countries who will be participating. So ano po yung ibig sabihin po nito? Ngayon pa lang, kailangan po ni ARTA na i-convene lahat ng mga ahensya para tignan po saan po tayo nag-score ng 0 or nag-score ng kalahati lang, 50%. So doon po tayo magpo-focus. Kasi ang dami po nito, ang dami ng indicators, 700 pages po. Meron po tayo mga indicators na perfect na yung score natin. So, ang ipa-prioritize natin yung mga 0 pa or kalahati pa lang yung score. So right now, we have already conducted several meetings with our agencies. Lahat naman po ng ahensya ng gobyerno, gusto tayong tulungan, nagtutulungan po tayo upang ma-improve yung score natin. Thank you.
Interview na lang.
Just one question.
As advised by our EXICOM, sige, one more question to go from.
Sir, from Manila Standard po, si Rio. So kanina you mentioned that there is red tape at the lower level among rank and file. So corruption is happening at the lower level. Kasi I think na ARTA has launched a massive campaign. Pati sa mga youth, as well.
Si Albertus kakain yata.
May nangyayari ng red tape at the lower level.
Kaya nga po, we really encourage people to complain. Kasi based on our experience, the report is really involving doon sa lower level. Doon talaga nag-umpisa yun. Kaya the sooner that this gets addressed, para hindi po lumawag yung pressure. We have to address it at we have to nip at the back of, so to speak. Doon mismo natin, kaya kailangan po talaga na report natin. Kasi sometimes, just by a simple indiscretion by a person below, like yung evaluator, na-stuck doon. At yung mga tao, siyempre yung reklamo, buong ahensya na kagad. But in fact, yung problema pala, doon sa baba. Kaya pag nakatanggap kami ng reklamo at i-report natin yan, at nagkaroon tayo schedule tayo ng clarificatory meeting or hearing, talagang chances are, this is immediately acted upon. Dahil alam natin na under the Citizen Charter, merong standard processing time yun. At bawal po na ni-require natin additional document o may pinapabalik-balik. Kaya pag na-identify natin yung person, na-identify natin yung in-action ang kagad yun because they know that this is strictly prohibited in the Citizen Charter. Sometimes it's not fair to condemn the whole bureaucracy for being corrupt. Sometimes it's just dun sa baba ang problema. At base sa aming experience, kapag nireklamo ito, na-action na naman kagad eh. Kaya we really encourage the people to let us know so that we can address whatever it is, whether it be issue, red tape, panic, additional requirement, additional fee. Even kung may corruption issue, you report to us so that we can immediately complain. Hindi po dapat tayo pinapabayaan lang na kumalat itong mga bali-balita nito. Sama-sama natin, tulungan natin. Gusto natin mabigyan ng immediate and then lasting solution to the issue, let's help one another. Isang puni yan, ipaalam sa atin. Meron po mga nakapaskil. Meron tayong hotline. Meron tayong email. Napakadali po mag-complain. All you have to do is complain so that we can act on it immediately instead of just condemning the whole system. Sabihin nito, kaya siya nito, corrupt, etc.
Sir, yung Sir, yung identity mo ba ng complainant will remain confidential, private?
It is requested kasi yun ang minsan ang apprehension ng makabalikan. So, we can conduct investigations sa ito motu proprio by acting on tip or information. We can keep the identity of the informant confidential. Tapos pag based on that information, we conduct entrapment operations. So we have an agreement with the National Bureau of Investigation. I-renew natin yung agreement natin with the Philippine National Police kasi sila naman yung law enforcement agencies that has the power to conduct formal investigation, entrapment operation. Ang ginagawa na po ng ARTA, ipag-coordinate, collaborate with them, give them the information, and then set up the entrapment